The following thoughts, opinions, stories, and expressions are meant for those who will appreciate them. If you don't, we hope you keep an open soul to encounter another here on 34 Questions. Peace. In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, folks? Welcome to 34 Questions. I'm your host, 34, and tonight I have a very special guest. Connor Tyler is in the building. How you doing tonight, Connor?
I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good, man. And likewise, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to get to know you better as well, allowing our audience to get to know you and also your descendants. So, it always excites me to have new guests on. So definitely appreciate your time. For the folks out there who are unfamiliar with the flow of the show, we do some intro questions, some warm-up questions just to set the tone. After that, we'll jump into some icebreakers. I'm not sure if you've seen the other interviews, but sometimes we don't even get to the icebreakers just because the conversation is just flowing so well. And then after that, we'll jump into the Wheel of Fate, where we spin the wheel. Whichever number it lands on will guide our conversation. And after all that, we'll finish out with some closeout questions. Sound good to you, Connor?
Sounds awesome. I'm excited. I'm ready to get going.
All right, man. That's what I like to hear. And my very first question for you in the warm-up is, how have you been? You've been doing great. You've been doing good. How you been lately, man?
I really like this question. I think this is such an awesome question to start with, man. I've been okay. I don't know. It's a baseline. Like, I've been doing my best, I feel like everyone can kind of feel like that right now, where we're just trying to keep it going, keep it moving. We all got stuff to take care of. I'm working hard. I feel like I'm trying to kind of figure out what I want to do, where I want to be. So that's I guess something that's been weighing on me a little bit lately. But other than that, I feel like I'm kind of finally hitting a routine, or I don't know if the rut's a word for it, but a stride, I guess. I'm feeling more comfortable. So I'm excited for where the future is going to take me in the next couple of days, months, years. One day at a time, I guess, is where I'm at right now. So.
For sure, man. I mean, I like to use the word flow for what you're describing. You're finding your flow and rhythm. But yeah, man, I think I'm glad to hear that you're doing okay. And I think that's where the baseline is, right? Like you were saying, we're either happier or we're a little more sad. But being okay is where I think most of us are for the majority of our lives.
Yeah.
And we're always flowing up and down between that. But that's dope, man. Question about your routine. How long did it take for you to kind of get it down? Or I'm sure you're probably still trying to figure it out, but for what you're working with now, how did you come to that?
I think it's just more not even a repetition thing. It was more of a mental thing for me. I'm 28 now, so I'm starting to kind of, I don't know. I think when I was younger, kind of the whole mental barrier thing, it was hard for me to get over certain aspects of work that I might not enjoy, or even my life that I might not enjoy. And now I find a way to not necessarily ignore them, but just accept them for what they are. And I feel be a little better, just trying to find that zen, flow, peace, whatever it is, because I feel that'll help me get to where I need to be. If I'm not there now, I can get there. I just got to look past all that stuff that might be kind of stopping me on the way there.
I can dig it. My second question for you in the warm-up is, what would you like the audience to know about you?
Know about me? Dude, these questions, I feel like I was prepared to come, but I'm not. To know about
you
me.
You are, though. You are prepared. I'll tell you that.
I think about me, I'm still kind of figuring it out. I think I am human. I make a lot of mistakes. I think one thing that I'm super proud about myself is I'm honest about those mistakes. I feel I'm not afraid to be hey, I'm sorry, I messed up. Can we fix it? Can I fix it? Can we fix it together? I feel that's benefited me a lot, just in my personal life and my professional life. Whether I mess up at work, I'm willing to be I'm sorry. It's personal. I'm sorry. I think that's helped me a lot. I think I'm not afraid to fail, which I think has helped me a lot, honestly. It's helped me learn what not to do, I guess, if you could call it that. And it does like, kind of nerdy. I like Dark Souls a lot. It's kind of like you fail a bunch of times and then that success is really, really worth it. It's like a real big success. It's like climbing that mountain almost.
I admire that trait, man. I like playing video games as well, but and this might sound like, what's it called? Self-deprecating for myself, but I don't do well with games that are like adventure games. I'm more of a sports player kind of game. I like competing with a set of rules and like being competitive in that way. Anytime I play an adventure game, I end up reaching a wall where I just get frustrated. I can't get past the level. And then I'm like, oh, let me find some cheat codes. At least when I was younger, in the days of, my youth, there were cheat codes. And I don't know if there are anymore these days, but I'd always just turn to them and for me to enjoy the game. So I definitely admire that trait of you just persevering through like losing at that boss over and over again and pushing through. And for all the kids out there who can do that, like that's one step above me. That's not something I have in me right now, at least. You mentioned you're trying to figure it out. Who do you think, like, you don't have to name any specific names, but for the people who you think have figured it out, what makes you feel that's like separates you from being at that stage?
That's a tough question. I think this is kind of a question you ask later on. I think happiness has to do with it a lot. Like my ultimate goal is I just want to be happy. I don't really need anything more than that, in my opinion. So I think people who have it figured out are usually happy, which is a very hard thing to kind of even like quantify, I guess, if you want to. Like, what does it mean to be happy? How do you be happy? All that stuff. It gets really deep. So I think you kind of know it when it's one of those things, you know it when you see it, when someone kind of has their stuff together. And I think it's different for everyone. Everyone has like their own definition of it. Everyone probably has their own like meaning behind it. And it probably has a bunch of different factors that go into it. But I think mostly it is like you know it when you see it. But I think the ultimate thing is if someone's happy, I think they probably have it figured out.
I got you, man. I got you. My third question for you in the warm-up is, if I were to do something in your honor, a way to express the energy you possess, what could I do for you, man?
Every time these questions.
Take your time, man. Take your time.
I was thinking that I would really like to do something for like possibly the homeless population or people in hunger. Something that's like super dear to me, I guess. I have a grandma who just got diagnosed with cancer. So if I could do something for cancer research, that would be really nice. More selfish, I would like something I'm a skateboarder. I like to skateboard.
For sure.
So more skateboards for people. I know a lot of places are trying to get skateboards out to like maybe impoverished communities or just more opportunities for people, which I really like to see. The thing that sucks about skate parks is a lot of them kind of end up in like not the best of neighborhoods sometimes. They're kind of like shoved into kind of like not like, I guess like you could even call it like the armpits of society. It's weird how people kind of treat it because it's a lot of noise and I get it, but it sucks. So I'd like to see better skate parks and better areas for more people. I think skateboarding is awesome. It really does promote that it's okay to fail and try again. I think that's where I got that mindset from the most, because that's, I've had a lot of people come to me and be like, well, can you teach me to skateboard? And it's like, yeah, you have to be prepared to fall though. You have to be prepared to fail. You have to be prepared to eat shit, kind of. It's part of it. And if you're not ready for it, don't try it because you probably won't like it. And I think that's helped me a lot. It'll help anyone, honestly, just trying to get that mindset like drilled into you. So I think skateboarding would help, but a much better cause, probably cancer research. I would like that a lot.
as you were just talking about it, man, I had this idea of having like maybe a skate competition that's somehow supporting cancer research. You feel me?
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
And
it's like your entry fee is like a donation to like a cancer fund, and then like the giveaways are like swag for the cancer research fund or something. I don't know. There's definitely something that could happen there. There's something for sure.
Name it after your grandmother too. That'd be crazy.
Be awesome.
Well, now we know. I like to plant seeds out here. Maybe speak some things into existence. So here we go, man. Who knows? 10 years from now. But yeah, we got you. And my last question for you in the warm up is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how well do you know yourself?
This is the question that really made me want to come on here the most, because I thought about it a lot, and I was very, very, I thought it would be like a 5 or a 6, maybe like a 7. I think it's more of like a 2 or a 3, honestly.
Word. Okay.
I really don't think I know myself that well, or at least at this stage in my life, I'd like to think that I have a lot more to learn about myself, my perspective, just the world around me. So I'd really like to hope that I have a lot more to learn. I think it's weird. Maybe it fluctuates from time to time. Sometimes I surprise myself and I act or in a way, or I do things in a way that I wasn't really expecting. Mm-hmm. And that's in those moments I would say a 2 or a 3. But then I have moments where for better or for worse, I should say, I think I kind of act exactly how I would expect. And in those moments, I tell you a 6 or a 7. So it fluctuates. I think more often than not, though, I'd say like a 2 or a 3.
I got you, man. I'm in the same kind of mind state, honestly. When people ask me what my answer is, I'm usually at a 5. For the same reason, it fluctuates same reason of being okay is okay. It's really about that balance in my mind. So I know when you said 2 or 3, I was thinking to myself, maybe you're giving yourself too little credit, but who am I to say?
It's tough. It's a tough question. It's a good question. You got good questions, man. I don't know what to say.
I appreciate it. But yeah, who knows better than yourself? That's what I tell people all the time. The answer's within. I have all these ideas for shirts I want to make. Just letting people know, like, you know who you are, kind of deal. But yeah, a little follow up to that is, what do you think is the biggest misconception for you? Like, when people find this out about you, they're like, oh my God, I never knew, or I never would have thought you were like that based on first impressions or whatever. So what's your biggest misconception?
Tough question. I think I am very like extrovert. I am interested in talking to people. I am interested in getting to know people. I'm just super shy at first. I'm very nervous. I'm kind of like a socially anxious person, to be honest.
I got you.
So I think a lot of times people might think of me first as like standoffish, or maybe not entirely like a friendly person. But I'd love to talk to people. One of my favorite things is just to listen to what people are passionate about, what they're interested in. I love learning, and usually people who are passionate about something, when they talk about it, it gives me an opportunity to learn something. And that's like, it's just fun. It's fun listening to someone talk about something they like. So I really, I'm just shy. I'm a shy person. And once we get past that, once I get over it, I like to talk a lot, definitely.
What helps you get over it? Like, what's the thing that earns your trust, I would say? And for me,
I know it's weird. It's hard. I'm just naturally an anxious person, a shy person. It's like moments of like where I embarrass myself, usually like breaking the ice, I guess, is that thing for it's like, you almost have that moment where it's like, all right, it's over. I made a fool of myself, whatever. It doesn't matter. And it's funny how it's like that because it doesn't matter. But that's just something I guess I never like grew. I still like got to grow out of that where it's like, it doesn't matter, man, That's a trip.
That's a trip. Yeah. I think I'm similar in that same sense, man. I think a lot of people would, I want to say consider me standoffish, but definitely quiet. I'm a quiet person most of the time, and at parties or like in any kind of situation, I'm a quiet person.
I'm what do you call it? A wallflower? Is that it? Like where you go to a party and like you're hanging out near the wall, like hanging out there, talking to people there. You're not like in the center. I'm more of that. I'd rather just kind of like chill out. I might not even be at the party, to be honest. But
no, I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah, definitely a wallflower at times. But there is, like you said, I don't know. You put it in a good way because it made me reflect on my situations. And yeah, whenever I get to laughing, or whenever I can make other people laugh, or we're in that kind of situation where we're just feeling good vibes, then that's when I start coming out more. When I feel like there's tense or a tense vibe, or if there's like, I don't know if you ever get this feeling when people are trying to one up each other in a particular setting, and you're just like, damn, I mean, all right, that's cool, you guys are doing that, but can we
someone
not?
Tells a story. Yeah, someone will tell a story, and then someone's like, yeah, but then I did this, and that's like, yeah, but I did that. And it's like, all right, man, this is cool, I guess. Like, it's fun to experience and like be a part of, I guess. It's like as like a fly on the wall. But it is kind of weird.
I shut down. I shut down completely, man. I'm just like, I'll let you guys do this. I don't really have any input at the time. Not saying that's better or the way to be, but I'm just saying that's just how I am. It sounds like how you are too.
Kind of the same, yeah.
For sure. All right, let's move on to the icebreakers. But before that, I got to remind the folks out there, if you are feeling the conversation or feeling the podcast, please like, subscribe, and share with your loved ones and friends. And hopefully you'd be open to be a guest too, because that's what it's all about, man, telling everyone's stories. So thank you for tuning in, and let's move on to the icebreakers. This first one is a true or false. So I'm going to give you some statements, and you let me know if you agree or disagree.
Okay, sounds good.
The first one is people are ultimately good.
That's a tough one. I'd like to believe yes. I'd like to. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards a no. I think people aren't the best sometimes. I'd like to be optimistic and say yeah. I see a lot of good like every day. So I think the problem is like a lot of the bad is highlighted and a lot of the good isn't. So I guess I logicked my way here into yeah, I guess people are good. And I think we just kind of focus on the negativity too much, maybe. I know I'm like that a lot. I focus on the bad a lot. I let it like kind of sometimes like I'm a very emotional person. I think I had a friend tell me recently, like, you're kind of dramatic. And I was like, true. Yeah, that's very true. I think like I sometimes like let my emotions get the best of me, and I'll definitely kind of focus on the negative a lot. And that's not good. I'm trying to like be better than that, like move past that, and the good would be a lot better for me. It'd be a lot better to focus on the positivity. That negativity, you just don't need it. And I think there probably are more good people than bad people. It's just the bad seems a lot worse than the good seems good. Maybe that's it.
I got you. The more conversations I have about this topic, I think I've gotten to a place where it's like, it's a balance, right? And within each person is that balance. Like we have our animal instincts about surviving and selfishness, we try to be on top, but then we also have that conscious side where we want to be good, or we want to create community, we want to be together. So that's all of us, all in us. In the beginning when I was younger, I probably would have believed people were ultimately good, and saying, I think that's what people want to be in their minds. But then that side that's, really within is like, we'll do some selfish shit sometimes, and it sucks that that's the truth. But yeah. That's how we
I'd
are.
like to think that it's like I'm good, but it's like I could definitely think the times I haven't been. So,
For sure.
It's like it's tough. It's a tough question. And it's like if you want to be like really honest, like really, really honest with yourself, It's tough. Something that I've been like trying recently is like I've been trying to meditate. I'd like to try to follow Buddhism in the coming like future. I'd like to learn more about it first before I commit to it. It definitely interests me, but I'd like to, one of the like most important things that really interests me is like introspection, being self-reflective. And I'd really like to be better about that because I think for, I'm 28, I'd say for like 25, 6, 7 years of my life, I wasn't really being self-reflective and introspective and really like trying to better myself from within. So I really like to make that moving forward. I'd like to do that moving forward a lot.
For sure. I think it's important too, hence the podcast and everything. But the reflection is always there in front of us, of ourselves. We just choose whether or not we want to take time to think about it or, try to ignore it, right?
Yeah.
Which leads
I've been ignoring it for a long time. Yeah.
Well, all right. I'm curious what you would say about this next statement, which is, since you know the happiness one already, I'm going to go with, I switched it up on you and I'm going to give you,
okay.
Overthinking is a bad thing. True or false?
Yeah. I overthink a lot. And it's weird because I'm not necessarily, like I wasn't self-reflective for a long time. But I would kind of like hyper focus on certain aspects of myself or even like little things that were said to me, even jokes. I've gotten a lot better about that. I think I've learned to like kind of let those like some of those things go. Definitely not all of them. But yeah, I overthink a lot. I'm a big overthinker. Even the most like simplest things I'll overthink. And then I'm someone who's like, I'll put off that appointment for a long time. And then I'll call and be like, oh, this is going to be so bad. Oh my God. And then I'll call and they'll be like, yep, sure. We'll do it for you. Blah, blah, blah. It'll be over in like 10 seconds. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, why did I do that? I do that a lot. So I think I just like overthink and make situations a lot worse. I'm taking steps to be better about that for sure. I'm trying to at least. But definitely it's hard. It's super hard. I get in my own head a lot. I'm like a very like logical person. I try to like make sense of everything. So I'll like go on and on and on and on and on in my own head about it, which isn't the best. The other thing that doesn't help, I have a med card, a medical marijuana card. So I smoke weed a lot.
I hear you, man.
So sometimes that makes my head race a little bit too. So, it's one of those things where I'm trying to, be better about it. I definitely as a kid, I've been smoking since I was like 16, 17. So as a kid, I definitely like, you could call it abuse, maybe like overuse, just a lot.
I hear you, man.
And now I think I'm better about it, but like mine races a lot. Definitely overthink a lot. So I'm trying to be better about it, but definitely a bad thing. Yeah.
Man, that's one of the things that I'm working on as well, and maybe I'm not ready to admit it's a totally bad thing, just because it happens to me, and I do it all the time. And yeah, I'm definitely this kind of person who put off a task. I'll do it tomorrow. It's not the right time, and then once I've done it, it's like that was quick and easy. Like, why did I wait so long to even try? And yet I continue to do it. So
every time I'll never learn. I'll just never learn.
I mean, I think we'll all get to a point. You said you were 28, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm 32, so it took me, I guess, even up to this point to actually start making habitual changes, or in just even my self-talk when it comes to those kind of situations. One of the downfalls of overthinking, and I'm sure is like little mistakes or regrets that just seem to pop up anywhere in your train of thought. Like, I know it happens to me where it's like something way back in my past is relatable to this current situation, and I'm not able to let go until I guess I gotta do some more healing. But I just want to let you know you're not alone, man. We're all in it together.
Thank you.
For sure. All right. The next icebreaker is a word association. I'm going to pull up a timer. And you got 34 seconds to give me as many thoughts or words to each question I'm going to add, or each word I'm going to give you. So for example, I'm going to say people. Then you give me the first thought or first phrase, whatever comes to mind. All right. We're going to see how many you can knock down.
Okay. Let's try.
Yeah, no problem. No pressure. No pressure. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Music.
Great.
Art.
Beautiful.
Parenthood.
Tough.
Family.
Love.
Culture.
Necessary.
Success.
Bumpy.
God.
Everywhere.
Brilliant.
Anyone.
Passion. What was passion?
I said art.
Art. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got 9, so close to the record, which was 10. You would have got the title. But so you said art for passion. Why is that?
Art is something that I've always been passionate about, whether it's like drawing, music. I have a guitar. I play not as much as I used to. I've been trying to play a little bit more. I'm a big fan of lo-fi music, and I have a little beat pad that I make beats on from here and there. I've thrown together like 4 or 5 song EPs that no one will probably ever hear. I'm my own worst critic when it comes to that. So like, it's never good enough. It'll never be good enough. But I just like, it's just something that I love. I always, anytime I make music, draw something, even if it's like coloring something, it's just so much fun. I have a lot of fun doing it. It's something that I would say I'm passionate about, whether it's like to do, or I think it's because it's something that I do for myself. Like I made a couple of YouTube videos, put it on YouTube for an average of like, I don't know, 20, 30 views a video. And it never was like about the views. It was always about like, this is fun to do. I'm learning a skill, video editing. I get to like learn something. I get to, with my time that I would rather be just like playing video games, you know. I'm learning something. I can put it on a resume. I can make a portfolio out of it. And it's just fun, man. And then even the music is just, it is really like a release almost. It's very cathartic to like play a song that's relevant to me. It is very similar to that like fail experience, to like constantly fail at learning a section of a song to just one time nail it perfectly. Just to like fail again and again and again to like nail it that other time again. Those moments of perfection really do kind of like keep me going in that sense, like with my art. Because like, I guess you could call me like a flawed artist or something, where it's like a lot of times I'm not really doing things perfectly or even right. But I don't really care. It's for me and I'm passionate about it. And it's not for anyone else. And if someone vibes with that, cool. If you don't, I don't care. It's whatever.
Yeah, man. Don't let that go. I hope you continue to create even in your older years. Because I mean, this is one of my issues too. I tend to think that everything I feel or who I am is in everybody else, which isn't always the case. But I do think everyone is a creator in their own way. And for you to feel like you are, I think that's makes me feel like we're fellow creators. And I'm just letting you know, like, we're gonna be creating forever, man. Like, in my first goal in life was to be a rapper, you know, and I haven't made it to that point. But in my mind, I'm always thinking maybe when I'm 50 or 60, I come out with some fire mixtape, and it's like, oh goddamn, it's a 50-year-old rapper, you know, laying these rhymes. And
never too late. Never too late.
It'll never leave. It'll never leave us, man. Like,
Ever.
And it sucks when I see people who maybe have been artists in their youth, but then, you know, either disregard that side of themselves as they get older. It's like, oh, that was me when I was younger. It's like, nah, it's still you. It's still in you.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's
tough. Sometimes you grow up in that spark. Like sometimes it's not even a matter of like losing it. Sometimes it has to get put on the back burner for life. And whether it's like I feel like something always does kind of rekindle that. That's how it was for music for me, for guitar. You know, I learned to play, and then I struggled with like bar chords, and I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. Forget this. And then I was over at a friend's house. He had a ukulele, and I was like, just picked it up, started learning it, and learned bar chords on that. And I was like, I wonder if this transfers to a guitar. Picked it up and tried a bar chord, and it rang out, and it was that spark. I mean, I've never. If it's like a fire just roared up again, and it was like, you know, I am playing this. And it was, it's just something you can't describe, but again, it's like a know it when you feel it kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone who's ever like maybe lost that spark or feel like it's like the fire has kind of died down a little, I feel like you just have to find that one thing that'll rekindle it, whether it's like picking up a different instrument or picking up that same instrument or taking a break. Or trying something different. It's hard. I know it's hard, man. It's so hard to force creativity. And maybe that's not the answer, but just like you said, it never goes away. It never truly goes away. I really do believe that. I'm with you on that. No matter what someone says, it's always there.
What would you say inspires your art? Like what gets you into that flow?
That's a tough one. I'm a big fan of like, I guess I pull inspiration from a lot of other people, and a lot of other creators. When it comes to music, I'm a big fan of like lo-fi artists. I like to go to like random lo-fi playlists on YouTube and listen to those artists. I guess if I had to shout one out specifically, Eldre is a great artist that I really, really like. If you've ever listened to and heard a lo-fi song that is super popular, that's familiar, like a Steven Universe one was super popular for a while. You probably heard it in a lot of TikToks. He did an Avatar, The Last Airbender one that you've probably heard. I think he did a Gravity Falls one as well. A lot of popular like cartoons and anime that you've probably heard made into a lo-fi beat. Super, super great artist. But there's so many like random lo-fi artists that I can't like shout out that I'll listen to and I'm like, that's amazing. I wanna do something like that. When it comes to like old school artists, I'm a big Jimi Hendrix fan, like a massive, I love Jimi Hendrix. I like Led Zeppelin a lot. I like a lot of pop punk bands. So like Story So Far, Neck Deep, Hot Mulligan is a great band I really, really like right now. When it comes to rap, I'm a huge Kendrick fan. I really, really like, I like Lil Nas X, believe it or not. I like Lil Nas X a lot. I like Wu-Tang too. If I were to pick like an old school artist, I guess I'm a big fan of Wu-Tang. Other than that, when it comes to like inspiration for like, I guess video editing or like YouTube editing or stuff, a lot of stuff that I base it on is like, I guess like meme humor, I guess, if that's even a thing you could call it.
Yeah.
A lot of my YouTube videos don't focus on like great gameplay. I wouldn't say I'm the best. I mean, I'm 28, man. These kids are too good at video games, man. They're too good. But I think sometimes I can highlight some really funny moments, sprinkled in with some like okay-ish decent gameplay that I try to edit to some songs. And that I try to draw inspiration just from like really popular Twitch and YouTube people, really anyone, whatever's trending. There is an algorithm you kind of want to try to hit. I haven't made a YouTube video in a while just because I haven't really been enjoying anything as of late.
Yeah.
I used to play Valorant, which is like a combination of Overwatch and CSGO. Wasn't really digging it as of late. I started playing Escape from Tarkov, which is like this crazy hyper-realistic military sim game that is not fun. The guy in charge of it has said like it's not meant to be fun. But I like games like that. I like Dark Souls. I like punishing games, hard games that are super rewarding when you kind of like figure them out and succeed in them. Like I can play Tarkov, go into a raid, maybe die, 5 or 6 times, lose everything, and then have one successful raid where I kill 3 other players, take all their stuff, get 3 quests done, get like 30,000 XP, along with like 3 kits, and it's like, all right, it was worth it. It was worth it. Dying 6 times in a row was definitely worth it for this. So yeah, I don't know. I realized that a lot of the stuff I related back to is video games. I need to get out more.
Hey man, don't even worry. I think you found what brings you joy in life. That's nothing to feel ashamed of. I mean,
video games.
If anything, man, it's just that keep that balance or find that balance. And that's going to be key. If you feel like you're doing it too much or you feel like you're talking about it too much, I think it's something that, we all kind of just work on. And there's people that know there's stuff I got to work on too, or find more balance in. So you mentioned listening to Kendrick. Did you listen to that new album that came out?
No, I still have to. I've been hearing a lot of buzz about it. I hear it's really good. I'm really excited. I'm not like a music critic by any means, but yeah, a lot of his stuff that he puts out, I think, is like always game changing. I think he's always like raising the bar in some way, and really changing stuff up. So I really am excited to listen to it. I wish more people would strive to be like Kendrick, honestly. He's a really, really good artist.
I haven't listened to the whole album yet, but I've listened to maybe the first 5 or 6 tracks. And I was trying to listen to it all the way through without any skips. Just haven't had the time to do so. But from what I've heard, man, it's an artist like fully putting themselves out there. And I think it's been like 5-6 years since his last album came out. So this was like, you could tell like, a lot of these emotions and stuff probably were heightened, and I think for everybody during COVID and quarantine, especially in that beginning year. So yeah, look forward to it. It's gonna be crazy dope for you. I think for anyone else out there who hasn't seen it.
Very excited.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, we made it to the portion of the Wheel of Fate where we're gonna spin the wheel. Let me throw it up here and give it a spin. So, just as a reminder, if any questions too deep or something you don't want to talk about, feel free to skip. We could just keep moving forward.
Okay.
But you got lucky number 7 first. And number 7 is, what is the toughest thing for you to admit about yourself?
Toughest thing to admit. I think. Wow, that's a hard one, I think. Because I always think that I could be like tougher on myself. I don't know. Like I said, I'm my own worst critic. So every time I'm like, that's not great. It's like, I'm like, but you could be harder on yourself. I don't know. I'd like to think that I'm a quitter, I guess, is the hard way to put that. And it's like, there's a lot of things that I never follow through with. Like I start and I don't finish them. Like I can't tell you how many times I've started to get in shape. I can't tell you how many times I've started to eat healthy. I can't tell you how many times I've started a guitar practice routine and then stopped it after like 2 months. I am not great at forming habits. I'm not great at like following through. To be like super harsh, which sometimes I think like I'm better at being honest with myself if I am harsh with myself. Sometimes I think everyone does need that like fire under them or that kick a little bit. That is like a harsh word where it's like, you're a quitter right now, man. You're being a quitter. And maybe that's just how I was raised. Maybe that's how my dad was growing up. He's a great guy. But I know when I came to him when I was younger and I was like, I don't think I want to play this sport anymore. Can I quit? And he's like, you're not a quitter. You're not going to quit. Don't be a quitter. That's not good. So I like being honest with myself in that regard, being like, yeah, you're quitting. It's not like, that's maybe a little harsh.
Yeah.
But it's like, like I'm giving up. Like maybe I could have given it a more honest try sometimes. And I think I need to be better about that. I need to be more resilient, have more grit, just like do it. Which I'm being better. I think that's just like maybe an age thing. Maybe for me, it's an age thing. I'm being a lot better, I've noticed lately, about just like doing things. When I was younger, I used to be a lot more standoffish about, like, maybe you could call it procrastination, you could call it being lazy. I'd call it being like immature and just being like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. And now it's like, well, you're going to have to do it eventually, and it's going to have to get done. You might as well just do it now. Get it out of the way. I'm being better about that. I don't know what to call that exactly. But that, whatever that is.
For sure, man, for sure. I'm gonna, have some follow-ups for you. So you mentioned it sounded like fitness and music as the two things that were hard to persevere through. What do you think I think there might be different reasons, but for your fitness side, like, what made you either, just drop the ball,
So I think it was a combination of things. The time in my life when I was most motivated to get in shape was after a really bad breakup. And it was in spite of someone else. Like, I realized after some therapy and like really thinking about it, it was like, this isn't for me. This is for someone else. Like, I got a gym membership, was going to the gym like 4 times a day, or not a day, a week. Eating, trying to eat healthy, like watching my carbs and calorie intake and all this stuff for someone else. And that, I am like very against that. I want to live my life for me, not for anyone else. So like, I had a bad relationship with fitness for a while, where I was like, every time I tried to, I struggled with like, is this for me? Is this for someone else? So I definitely like need to reevaluate my relationship with it, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that starts with like meditation and yoga. I really want to get into yoga again. I actually took a yoga class in college, and it was like my first semester, and I tried to keep up with that for like a year or two afterwards. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of stopped doing it. And I would really like to start doing that again. And I am a very like inertia to get over that like first initial hump is so difficult for me. I feel like I weigh like 1,000,000 pounds when it comes to trying to get me going for something. But once I'm going, I swear the hill is like down, straight down. It's like I will just free fall down. But to get me going, that initial like flat ground is like impossible, because I'm just so hard to get going. And I don't know, I just have to find my motivation with it. I think like I think like if I could be proud of anything, I'm glad that I recognized that it was for someone else and not for me. For sure. I'm reevaluating my relationship with it. So like not being able to continue doing it or like giving up on it, at least I can find a positive aspect to it, which I'm like happy with. Mm-hmm. Just moving forward, I just got to reevaluate it and try to find like a better relationship, both with like food and like working out and fitness, whether that's like getting on my skateboard more, just doing some push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and like yoga at home, just something simple like that. I don't gotta be jacked, I just gotta be in shape,
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I struggle with the same exact thing. I don't think I have the greatest relationship with food either. I think I try my real best to eat good 4 out of the 7 days of the week, and then there's 3 days where I just let go. And that's pretty much how it goes for me. And then I'll try to work out 5 out of 7 days. And when I was younger, I used to be able to have more energy, and then like I realized now as I'm older, like I'm not running as longer, I'm not pushing as much weight, but trying to stay consistent and be working within my limits, and trying to push those limits, just very small percentages, but I think I can get back. I was gonna try to wrap it all together, the idea of you like quitting, when it sounds like you still have the idea of getting back. It's not necessarily quitting, maybe you just had to take a break, like you said, kind of reflect on it more.
It's like a hiatus, I guess you could call it.
it's a piece of you that comes and goes, right? It's that flow. It's that either knowing yourself or not knowing yourself. It's that balance. And I think, man, like, that's what you're kind of encompassing. You're talking about, being too negative earlier. Sometimes I think what helps me out whenever I get in those moments is just really zooming out of the picture and just kind of seeing everything for what it is. And that helps me out, because the negativity is in those super specific spots, and we have a bunch of those moments. But then when we zoom out, we realize the negativity is kind of like those little dots in the picture. It's not the whole picture. There's more good than bad in the picture, But yeah, just something to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. And for music, what makes you feel like you quit on that, or like what made you stop after those 2 months?
It was more so guitar, and again, it was it wasn't more so I was doing it for someone else. It was after a breakup. I started picking up my guitar in the like time that I had to myself. Instead of like wallowing in myself, I was like, I'm gonna learn to do something, and it was guitar. During that time, I was smoking weed a lot, so it kind of went hand in hand, where it was like I could be outside, smoke a little weed and then play guitar for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and smoke a little weed and then play guitar again for 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours. And it ended up being like I was playing guitar. Like, again, it was like a time in my life where I was probably the most, like, I guess you could call it like talented at guitar, where I was able to play like a lot of different songs, do a lot of different things. And again, from therapy and a lot of reflection, I realized it maybe stemmed from, like, I don't know if toxic is the word from it, but not from a great mindset or perspective, where I was like, I'm playing this music. A lot of times it was, and when I really took a step back and looked at the songs I was playing, a lot of it was like sad breakup music. And it was like, I wonder about that. And now that I'm kind of like, I guess I don't know if over it's the word for it, but like, now that I have a different relationship with music and my guitar, I don't really like to play those songs as much. There's some of them that I like to play, but it's like very clearly it's obvious to me, it's a different mindset or a different perspective. So again, maybe a hiatus was the word for it. A lot of my like difficulty lies with like my lo-fi music. And my beats or loops or whatever you want to call that. On my Instagram, I think I have 2 loops posted, and I posted them like a year ago, 2 years ago. And I haven't really made anything of like, I guess, what I consider value since. Nothing that's like great. Again, own worst critic. But that's just me. I don't know what it is. There's just like, I just can't really, I just have like a mental block with it right now. I just can't really find inspiration for it. Yeah. And like I said, I'm not one to like force it. When it comes, it comes.
For sure.
That's it.
For sure.
Yeah. When it comes, it comes. I'm not going to force it.
I feel it, man. I was going to mention too, for my day job, I run an after school program at a high school. And part of my job is during the lunch periods, I'll be playing. In the beginning, I was playing, trying to be popular, trying to be hip, trying to, show the kids that I'm still in the culture. But I'm not, to be honest with you. I'm sure they just clown on me behind my back. So at a certain point, I was like, you know what, let me just play some instrumentals. And so I've been playing like a lot of lo-fi stuff, a lot of, just 90s boom bap, because that's what I grew up in. I'm trying to be true to myself, in front of them, but I'm also not trying to force down like these old topics, old lyrics, even though they're classic flows to me. These kids don't know who these artists are most of the time. But I think they just appreciate, like, there's a cool vibe. There's like a chill music background to their lunch, like they're chatting up and stuff. So I would
love you. I would think you were the coolest teacher if you did that. That would be cool.
Well, I take that to heart, man, just because I think there's probably 1 or 2 kids out there who feel the way you do, even though they don't tell me. It's just like, oh, well, at least they know when they come out here, it's a chill vibe. It's not like anything too rowdy, right?
I guarantee you there's a kid who came into school one day, was having a bad day, and he gets into the lunchroom and he hears your lo-fi and he's like, this is a little bit better now. Just to have a nice relaxed lunch, man. You're making someone's day in there for sure.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. And I was trying to get to that point where I'm gonna try to play some of your music, man. If you can link me to some of your lo-fi beats, I'm down to play them. Just because, you know, I always try to expose the kids to different kind of music. If you're comfortable, feel free to send me some stuff.
If I make something good, I promise I'll send something to you. I promise you.
Well, make sure to ask someone else if it's good, right? I know you're
I'll
gonna
ask someone else. I know I'm super. Yeah. I'll ask someone else first. I promise.
I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way. All right, we made it to the closeout portion of the podcast, man. We only got through one spin, but I think this has been a great conversation. I want to thank you again for coming on and you know, being open. I hope you're having fun.
I'm having a great time. This has been awesome. It's actually been the most fun I've had in a conversation in a long time.
I'm glad, man.
I feel like I've been having a lot of like, I don't know, at work, a lot of like, I don't know if superficial is the word, but just like, hey, what's up? How are you? You know, work, blah, 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 blah. It's been nice to talk to someone who, it was nice to meet you first off. But it's been really nice to just talk to someone and like get a nice perspective or a different kind of like worldview, or just like talk to someone. I feel like I've just been having the same conversations day in and day out. So change is nice, a breath of fresh air almost, man. It's been amazing.
I'm glad I could provide that for you, man. And I do know what you mean about that feeling. I don't know how long you've been at your job, but my favorite thing to tell people is that I've had like 17 jobs in 10 years. And I think what drove me to keep moving on was for that same reason. Like, it's not that you don't want to be friends with coworkers, but you guys are coworkers. You spend a lot of time already together at work. It's really hard to be like, oh, let's go hang out outside. It's like, I'm gonna see you pretty soon again, right? So it is difficult.
It's actually really interesting. That's something that I remember hearing you say, like 17 jobs in 10 years. I'm pretty similar. I don't think I've ever held a job for more than like 2 years or a year. Mm-hmm. I'm just not. I've also not really had too many great jobs. A lot of like retail, warehouse. I guess the most interesting job I've had is I worked at a worm farm, like a cricket worm farm. That was kind of cool. I worked on a machine there that was like, there was one other machine like it in the world, and it was in China, and that was the like test machine they built for us. So like I was like one of like, I don't know, 10 people who knew how to run it. Not super impressive, if I'm being honest. It just separated worms into cups with their food. That's all it did.
It's a skill. It's a skill, man.
It was cool. I got to work on a farm, a bug farm, technically.
Yeah.
So like it was a cool experience. I would not do it again. If you didn't know, technically farmers don't have to be paid overtime if you work in agriculture.
That sucks.
You don't have to. And then like there's no federal law that says you have to be paid holidays either. So yeah, it was like not great. It's agriculture, it's farm work, like it's living stuff. So like I wasn't part of the team that had to feed them necessarily. Mm-hmm. But like they were there literally 7 days a week. Like there was, I think 10 of them, 5 work Sunday to Thursday, and the others work like Tuesday to Saturday or something. And it's like there was always someone there. Besides for overnight, like overnight they could leave them.
Yeah.
But like every day someone was there. So it's like, it's interesting, but kind of sucked. Like
it's hard work, man. It's hard work.
Yeah.
And I will say, man, I know maybe you don't feel that way right now, but it all connects, you know, at the end. At least for me, you know, this job I have now, I left 4 years ago, and it took me a while to come back, but I knew this is what I wanted to do, is work with youth. I don't know how you are with kids, but you know, it seems like if we're very similar in a lot of our aspects, you might do really well with kids, like especially in that high school range, just because, you know, we talked about having these conversations, right? And sometimes with coworkers, there's always this barrier. But with kids, it's a whole different thing, because it's not like they see you as a coworker. You know, they see you, I mean, if you're lucky enough, they'll see you as a mentor or a coach, you know? and you're
never thought about it that way. It's a really good point.
And I'm not a teacher, so they don't see me as a teacher. They don't see me as an authority figure. They really have no reason to like interact with me unless they want to, which I think in my position that makes me feel more comfortable because I don't feel like I'm forcing my ideals or, you know, my advice onto them. So yeah, I'm just letting you know, maybe part-time, just anything to do with youth, man, because you have those good conversations with them. They don't have those walls built yet as high, you know? So putting it out there, something to think about. But all right, man. We're going to move on to this exercise called the 34th mantra. I'm going to give you a phrase. I am, I can, I will. This might be the most uncomfortable part of the podcast because I'm going to switch you over to a screen where you're looking at yourself, basically, and you're talking into the mirror. And this is something just for you to have and as a reminder. So here we go. I am, I can, I will. How would you fill that in first?
I am scared. I will be brave. I can move forward.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
I guess to elaborate a little. I am very scared. I'm a very scared person. I'm not like, the future is very scary to me. I'm a very unsure person. Like, I feel like moving forward, it's very uncertain. I'm a very indecisive person. And I'm just trying to be more confident, more brave, more decisive. Whether that means making the wrong choice or the right choice, I'd rather make a choice than sit still. So I'd really like in the coming years to just move forward. I feel like I've been scared to like move forward long, whatever that means. That's so hard to kind of define. I feel like I've been like stagnant, and I feel like it's better to move forward, even if that is to move forward into even a temporarily worse spot, to maybe get yourself to something better.
Sure, man. I mean, you know, we always take steps back and steps forward. I don't know for you what I've in my mind, right? Like, especially now that I'm 32, when I turned 30, I probably had this idea in my head of like, what are 5 things that I can do in my day that makes me feel like I move forward? And then my best days, my perfect days, when I do all 5. But most of the time I'm doing one on one day, another one on another day. So I think that's a big reason why I'm not progressing as fast as I would like. But those baby steps are still amounting to something. So, you know, for you being at 28, that wasn't something I was thinking about, something I was figuring out yet. But when I was at 30, I definitely started to solidify those things. And now at 32, I'm like, man, I feel like time's running out where I need to get my act together and start doing all 5 every day. So it's coming, man. It just takes time. You know, being scared is a part of life. But it also gives you that room to, you know, prove your bravery, like you said. And I think you'll surprise yourself. And if you're at a 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 right now, I'm looking forward to those moments when you feel like you're that 9 and 10 spot. But yeah, keep pushing, man. And then, so we got this next question is a question from my previous guest before you, which isn't Jacob. It is, I gotta turn these pages. My homie Quan. His question for you is, what is your motivation? What gets you up in the morning?
Well, thank you for the question. I would say, I guess the me. So usually I try. I'd like to be the best that I can be. It's really hard. But like lately I've been trying to think like, what would like future me like? What I guess future me is my motivation as of late, is like, what can I do to benefit myself in the future? Because like I keep hearing right now, it's, you know, like, these are the best years, these are your great years, like you got to do what you want to do now. And it's like, okay, but what about like future me? Like, I don't know. I feel like I used to like focus too much on the past for a long time that I didn't even like live in the present. And then now I'm living in the present, but I really do want to focus on my future a little more. So I guess my motivation would have to be both my best self, like, you know, the best that I can be, my future self, and I'm not gonna lie, my parents a lot. My parents.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I don't know if you watched my episode with Jack Thomas, another guest. If you haven't, we had a conversation about, he asked me, why do I care about what my parents think of me? And you know, I had to kind of like let him know, at least for me, that connection of like, these are the people that raised me, sacrificed so much for me. Like, how can I not care about what they think, or, you know, how they view how my life is going? But for him, he just couldn't get it. And if you check out that episode, you'll understand why. But yeah, it was a crazy conversation. My next question for you is, what question would you like to ask the next guest that comes on to 34 Questions?
So I've been thinking about the afterlife a lot. Recently. Okay. And I thought about reincarnation. And I thought this would be an interesting question because I've been thinking about it a lot. And it's like a two-part question, I guess. So the basis of it is you're going to be reincarnated. One, what is something you would want to be reincarnated as? And two, what is something you think you need to be reincarnated as?
Whoa.
So
okay.
The second question should be more of like a self-reflective one. Like, what do you think would be the most beneficial for you to be reincarnated as? And it doesn't have to be a living object. You can say a piece of grass if you really think that would benefit you. I do believe that even the most like inanimate objects, you can benefit a lesson from. You can learn a lesson from being it, whether that's a lesson in patience, humility, whatever it is. I don't know what that lesson would be. I've never been a table.
I got you.
It'd be interesting to see. But yeah, that's something I've been thinking about a lot recently. What would I want to be? What would be the most or the coolest or best or beneficial? And then what would I need to be reincarnated as? What would probably get me closer to, I guess the idea is nirvana. What would get me the closest to enlightenment? What do I need to learn? What does my soul need to learn to better itself?
Yeah, that's interesting, man. It definitely makes me think of the stuff I've been through and what I haven't been through, and what would that be next for me? You know, like, I don't want to go through the same thing, but yeah.
It's hard. It's a very hard question. I definitely haven't found a good answer, so I'm kind of cheating here. Sorry, whoever gets this. I haven't found the answer to this one. It's a hard question, I think. For me personally, I can tell you I'd love to be reincarnated as like a famous person or a bajillionaire. But I'm not gonna lie. I also think I'd like to be reincarnated as, you know, someone who isn't necessarily connected to society, someone maybe who lives like out in like the forest somewhere, in like an off the grid kind of living situation. I think that would be very interesting to be a part of, where like everything I do and get is for myself and the people around me, in not necessarily a selfish way. It's in a survival way. And I think that would be very interesting to experience and be a part of, and actually live, not just like experience for a weekend or two or something, to actually live it and be a part of it from start to finish. I think those hold like really, really interesting lessons. I think people at the end of their life do kind of come across some really, really interesting truths that only they will discover in that moment, in their most personal, private moments. You know, that's something that only you yourself can experience. And I think it's important. And I do believe in reincarnation, so I think those moments do hold really, really important lessons, definitely.
For sure, man. I'm gonna give you a stoner thought right now, which is what if reincarnation in your current life? right? Like you're living a life of one thing and then you want to reincarnate into someone that is different. Like in my case, yeah, maybe I should reincarnate myself into someone that can make a lot of money. I'm a very, I don't think this is the right word for it, but like anti-money kind of person, you know. I don't have the biggest affection for money, and likewise money doesn't like me either. So to change myself, change my thinking, reincarnating myself into something that's you know, someone that cares, someone that's more financially you know, financially literate, you know, that's something that I think for me is a reincarnation I need to do now. But no, I got you, man. Just something that for everyone else to chew on. You know, maybe you can reincarnate yourself into someone or something that, you know, you need to work on. So
I think that'd be interesting with like manifestation. That's like a super popular interesting idea right now, is like if you really truly believe, if you really truly, you can manifest it into existence. So it's like maybe those are two ideas to really think about or play with. Or, you know, I am a big believer in like, I think you can believe whatever you want, really. I think like it's important to not narrow your mindset to one like worldview, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. That's tough to say. I think that's a little privileged to say that, but it's tough. I think, I don't know. It's a tough one. I would like to be open to a lot of different things. I hate to say like that's the answer or that's right. I think this entire time, even I've been like a little black and white in instances, and I've even thought afterwards like, I should be more open with this. I should be more gray with this, because things are very gray. I think things aren't black and white at all.
Yeah, and man, that is definitely a part of growth, man. I don't know what it is with the way our minds grow as we get older, but it goes definitely from black and white to being more gray. There was this thing about there's this quote that was like, the youth know what's right and wrong, the old know the exceptions. So it's like that's what it is, man.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
All right, and then my last question for you, man, the question that ties everything together is 100, 200, 300 years from now, your descendants are watching this video. What would you like to tell them?
Oh man, I forgot. I loved you and I'm proud of you. I think that wherever you are, I'm proud of you. I hope that learning about me, if you did, was cool and fun. Isn't the past crazy? Whoa, look at this. Wow.
So such low res right now.
I know, bro. Like, isn't this crazy? Like, you know, whatever you're doing, I hope you're happy. I would say happy. Being happy is the number one thing. If it makes you happy, I love you. Just please be happy. I think that's like the thing that has been the focal point in my life. I see it in a lot of people's lives. I know it's counterintuitive and it sounds weird, but don't stress on it. Just whoever you are and whoever you're gonna be is just fine.
I got you, man. And I think they got it too. Any last things you'd like to add before we head out of here?
This has been awesome, man. This has been really fun. I would recommend this to literally anyone. I haven't had a chance to really be existential or like think about things like this. So really appreciate the opportunity. And seriously, if you're thinking about coming on, I'd really, really recommend it to anyone who's like listening. Please, this is awesome. This is so much fun. It's been a blast. I really couldn't, I didn't really know what to expect coming in, even listening. I didn't really know what to expect, and it's just like far exceeded and anything. This is awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Connor. It's been great. I think, you know, I saw you gave me a lot to reflect about as well, you know, just because I do think we're very similar. And yeah, man, if anything, I just want to let you know, continue to grow, continue to move forward. When you do take steps back, don't be so hard on yourself, because it is one of those things where we all take steps back, and I don't want to downplay your experience, but like I said earlier, you're not alone. So for everybody out there listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, watching on YouTube, want to say thank you as well for tuning in. And on all the other channels, I just don't have them listed, and I don't want to list them out. But I appreciate your time, and I hope you got something out of this as well. Remember to reach out, reach forward. As always, much love, and we'll catch you guys next time on 34 Questions. Peace. And it fades out from there, man. That's pretty much it.
Awesome.